The winter of 1942 wears on, a relentless harbinger of despair, cloaking the frost-kissed canals of Leningrad. The city's grand structures, once symbols of pride and resilience, now stand as monuments to an unyielding hardship. Amidst this frigid landscape, a chilling tension hangs heavy in the air, palpable even to the weary citizens who trudge through snowdrifts to eke out a meager existence. The NKVD's Captain Ivan Petrovich, a grizzled veteran with eyes that betray years of unyielding scrutiny, stands atop a windswept hill overlooking the city. His gaze scans the horizon, piercing the gloom as if searching for a beacon amidst the shadows. The weight of his responsibility rests heavily upon him, the task to uncover the identity of an enemy that lurks within the very walls of Leningrad. Captain Petrovich is not alone in this quest. He is joined by Maria, a young woman with an uncanny intuition and steely resolve, whose keen mind serves as an invaluable asset in their pursuit of the truth. Together they delve into the murky depths of espionage and sabotage, their every move fueled by a shared resolve to bring justice to the people of Leningrad. As the days pass, whispers of treachery grow louder. Stories of hidden caches of food being pilfered, vital supplies going missing from factories, and communication lines being cut during crucial moments of battle circulate through the city like a contagion. The people's spirits waver but are buoyed by the unwavering courage that has become synonymous with their great city. In a dimly lit room hidden deep within the bowels of the NKVD headquarters, Captain Petrovich and Maria sift through evidence. Each piece of information they uncover, drawing them closer to their enigmatic adversary. The walls close in around them, the tension palpable as they struggle to decipher the threads of a web spun by an enemy whose identity remains shrouded in mystery. Suddenly, a breakthrough, a series of coded messages between two individuals with ties to both the Nazi regime and the highest echelons of Soviet society. As Captain Petrovich and Maria trace the origins of these messages, they discover that one of the communicants is Alexei Kruglov, once hailed as a hero for his service to the fatherland, but now accused of being a saboteur. The revelation sends shockwaves throughout Leningrad, but it also raises more questions than answers. Who is the other party in these communications? What role do they play in this elaborate game of deceit and treachery? And perhaps most importantly, who can be trusted when the enemy is not only within the city's walls, but may even reside among its citizens? In a desperate attempt to unravel the web of intrigue that threatens to consume Leningrad, Captain Petrovich and Maria follow the trail of their enigmatic adversary. Little do they know that their actions will set in motion a series of events that will forever alter the city's landscape and force them to confront the delicate balance between friend and foe in the most uncertain of times. In the gloomy recesses of Leningrad, where shadows danced like spectral apparitions, the NKVD unraveled a tangled skein of treachery. As the icy winds howled outside, suspicion seeped through the war-weary city's veins, its fingers clawing at the very foundations of loyalty. A man once hailed as a hero, Alexei Kruglov, stood accused of being a saboteur and treasonous agent. The whispers that had long haunted Leningrad now coalesced into a cacophony of fear and disbelief. For the people of this battered city, the betrayer's reign cast a shadow over their already bleak existence. Kruglov, a man whose face was etched with lines of deceit and duplicity, faced the interrogators with an air of confidence that belied his true feelings. His past riddled with half-truths and hidden alliances, he seemed an unlikely suspect, yet harbored secrets that could shatter the fragile peace in Leningrad. As Captain Ivan Petrovich delved deeper into the investigation, a sense of unease pervaded the city. The people lived on edge, their eyes darting between friends and strangers alike with newfound suspicion. A once united front now fractured along lines of trust, as the question of who to believe consumed them. Yet, amidst this cesspool of doubt and fear, there remained those whose unwavering resolve refused to bend. Maria, a young woman whose keen intuition proved instrumental in the case, worked tirelessly for the NKVD, sifting through the debris of treachery to uncover the truth. General Sergei Konstantinovich, an ally to Captain Ivan Petrovich, stood by his side, a steadfast pillar of wisdom and fortitude. Together, they navigated the treacherous waters of deceit and betrayal, seeking justice for their city and its people. In times such as these, the line between friend and foe blurred like ice melting beneath a relentless sun. The betrayer's reign served as a sobering reminder that even in the darkest hours, hope remained, a flickering ember of resilience that refused to be extinguished. In the heart of Leningrad's labyrinthine underbelly, where shadows danced on cold stone walls and whispers carried like secrets on the wind, a new player emerged in the city's tangled web of intrigue. The NKVD, ever watchful, detected an elusive figure who moved with the grace of a panther through the frozen maze that was Leningrad. This enigmatic aristocrat, Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky, was a man of wealth and influence whose connections extended far beyond the reaches of Soviet Union's borders. As Captain Ivan Petrovich and his team delved deeper into their investigation, they uncovered a trail of deceit that wound its way through the highest echelons of Leningrad society. The once resolute convictions of the NKVD agents began to falter as they grappled with the unsettling realization that even those closest to them might harbor sinister secrets. The cunning aristocrats' manipulation of the city's resistance forces cast a pallor over their efforts, leaving Petrovich and his team questioning the very nature of their adversaries and allies alike. Loyalty, once a beacon of hope amidst the frosty gloom, now seemed an elusive mirage, as trust became an ever-shifting terrain upon which survival depended. The city, already reeling from the cold grip of war, was further shaken by the revelation that even their own citizens might betray them for a price. The air hung heavy with tension, the silence punctuated only by the distant rumble of artillery and the muted cries of desperate survivors. In this tense atmosphere, the NKVD continued their relentless pursuit, drawing ever closer to their quarry. The city held its breath as Petrovich and his team closed in on Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky, the mastermind who had so skillfully orchestrated the sabotage that plagued Leningrad. But the aristocrat, ever aware of the noose tightening around him, chose a different path. In a fateful moment, he withdrew into the shadows and took his own life rather than face capture by the NKVD. The act sent ripples through the city, leaving behind a web of deceit and treachery that would forever alter Leningrad's landscape. As the city mourned its fallen citizens, Petrovich stood atop the icy battlements of a once grandiose structure, overlooking the desolate scene below. The weight of unraveling the intricate tapestry of treachery now lay upon his shoulders. The indomitable spirit of Leningrad's people remained steadfast, yet one could not help but feel a sense of unease in those icy depths. The phantom saboteur had been revealed, and the city would never be the same again. But as the cold winds of war continued to howl through the streets, Leningrad's spirit refused to break, instead hardening into a resolute determination to endure. The pursuit of justice would never cease in this frozen land, and the line between friend and foe remained blurred at best. In times such as these, one could never truly know whom to trust. In the shadowy confines of an unassuming office, Captain Ivan Petrovich, a man of steely resolve and keen intuition, poring over a mountain of evidence. His eyes, weary from countless sleepless nights, scanned the pages before him, each line bearing the weight of the city's hope. As he reached the final documents, the pieces of the puzzle began to coalesce, forming an image as clear and cold as the frost-kissed canals outside. The phantom saboteur was none other than Prince Alexander Petrovich, a name once whispered with reverence in the hallowed halls of Leningrad society. A close confidant to Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky, their friendship now stained by treachery and deceit. The revelation sent shockwaves throughout the city, leaving its citizens reeling from the betrayal that had lurked in their midst. As the truth unraveled, so too did the delicate fabric of trust that bound Leningrad's people together. In the dim light of the office, Captain Petrovich could almost hear the collective gasp of disbelief echoing through the frost-kissed streets, a sound as chilling as the winter wind outside. The city, already battered by war and famine, now faced the crushing weight of this new revelation. Yet amidst the desolation, there was also hope. For with the unmasking of the phantom saboteur, the people of Leningrad could finally begin to heal, to rebuild their shattered trust, and to forge a new path forward. As Captain Petrovich stood in that office, he knew that this was just the beginning. The The fight against subversion and treachery would continue, but for now, they had triumphed over their unseen enemy. In the aftermath of the revelation, the people of Leningrad found solace in one another, their resolve to endure unshaken. The indomitable spirit that had defined them in times of darkness now shone brighter than ever before, a beacon of hope amidst the icy gloom. As they looked to the future, they could see the faint glimmer of peace on the horizon, but it was a promise yet to be realized, a dream that would take courage and determination to achieve. In this frozen city, where hope was a rare and precious commodity, the people held fast to their dreams. They knew that justice had been served, that the phantom saboteur had been brought to light, but they also understood that the true battle lay ahead, the struggle against the darkness that sought to extinguish the light of humanity. As the snow fell softly outside, covering the city in a blanket of white, Captain Petrovich stood alone in his office, his thoughts heavy with the weight of the past and the hopes for the future. The phantom saboteur had been unmasked, but the struggle against treachery and deceit would continue. For as long as there was darkness, there would always be a need for light. As the first light of dawn breaks over Leningrad, the city stirs from its slumber, a hazy mist lingering on the frost-kissed canals. The people, weary yet resolute, braced themselves for another day in this unforgiving landscape. The phantom saboteur, whose identity has now been revealed as none other than Prince Alexander Petrovich, remains at large, leaving the citizens to grapple with a tangled web of deceit and treachery. Captain Ivan Petrovich, his steely gaze undiminished by the early morning gloom, issues orders for the pursuit of this elusive figure. The NKVD scatters across the city, their eyes sharp and focused, seeking to root out any trace of the saboteur's influence. As the hours slip away, so too does the hope of a swift resolution. The city, once abuzz with whispers of subversion and treachery, now echoes with the sound of boots tramping through snow and the crackling radio transmissions of the NKVD. The tension is palpable, hanging over Leningrad like a shroud as citizens hold their breath in anticipation. Days turn to weeks, and still, no sign of the saboteur emerges. The people's spirits are tested, their resilience stretched to its limit by this latest twist in their ongoing struggle. Yet amidst the darkness, rays of hope flicker, for even in these treacherous times, there remains a spark of justice that refuses to be extinguished. And then, in the stillness of a frozen night, the NKVD receives word that Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky has been apprehended. The news spreads like wildfire through Leningrad, lifting the spirits of the citizens as they celebrate the first glimmer of victory in their long and arduous battle against the saboteurs. In a swift and brutal showdown, Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky is brought to justice, his life snuffed out in an instant, leaving behind a legacy of deceit and betrayal. The people watch with heavy hearts as the enigmatic figure who had cast such a long shadow over their city is finally brought to account for his crimes. Yet even as Vasily's demise brings closure to one chapter, questions about the wider implications of the sabotage in Leningrad remain unanswered. The city's faithful grapple with the knowledge that someone so close to them could wreak such havoc, left to ponder the delicate balance between friend and foe in these tumultuous times. With Vasily Bagration-Mukhransky's downfall, a new chapter in Leningrad's history unfolds. The people, battered but unbroken, continue their struggle against the harsh realities of war and uncertainty, their spirits fueled by the indomitable nature that has come to define them. In times such as these, one can never truly know whom to trust, yet they press on, steadfast in their pursuit of justice and their unwavering resolve to endure. Narrator, voiceover in the frigid shadows of Leningrad, a city that once thrived on grandeur now lay dormant under the frost's icy grip. A specter of treachery had cast its ominous tendrils throughout the once mighty city, yet there remained pockets of resilience that refused to be vanquished. One such beacon was Anna Ivanovna, a woman who embodied the very essence of Leningrad's indomitable spirit. Her days were spent traversing the frozen canals, her bare hands wrapped tightly around her infant daughter, hustling for scraps to feed her family. Her nights were plagued by nightmares, images of the saboteur that had wreaked havoc upon her city, leaving death and destruction in its wake. Yet, Amidst this cacophony of fear, Anna's spirit remained unbroken. In a world where trust was as rare as warmth, it was Maria who emerged as an unexpected ally. A young woman, not yet 20, she worked tirelessly for the NKVD, her keen intuition proving instrumental in unmasking the phantom saboteur. Her days were spent poring over documents and evidence, her nights haunted by memories of lost loved ones and the weight of responsibility that rested heavily upon her shoulders. Yet, Maria persevered, driven by a sense of justice that burned fiercely within her. The people of Leningrad, bruised and battered by the relentless siege, watched with bated breath as Captain Petrovich led the charge against the saboteur. A cacophony of cheers erupted from the crowd as justice was served, a bittersweet victory that brought forth a renewed sense of hope and determination. In the aftermath, Anna Ivanovna stood tall amidst the frost-kissed ruins, her hands wrapped protectively around her child. A small smile played upon her lips as she surveyed the city that had become her home. The indomitable spirit of Leningrad would endure, and though darkness may have cast its shadow over the once great city, the light of hope burned ever brighter within the hearts of its people. As the camera pans across the devastated landscape, one can almost hear the whispers of resilience that echo through the frozen canals, a testament to the unyielding spirit that defined Leningrad and those who called it home. In times of war and uncertainty, there remained a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could